Now that the party is over, now that you're all alone, party is over. Yeah, I'm gonna be more unhinged this specific week. Um, yeah. Anyways, um, Tyrese is gonna speak the truth here. They're gonna ask him in an interview. I guess the Shade Room. What's it called? Stepping into the Shade Room, whatever this segment is called. They're gonna ask him who's the king of R&B, and Tyrese is gonna say the truth. Ah, the truth is beautiful. Anyways,
as an R&B legend yourself,
yes, ma'am.
Who do you think is the king of R&B?
Fair use, by the way. Fair use.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. Why?
Who else but him?
I'm biased.
We're not talking about him being in jail and all this shit dealing with controversy-wise. No.
I would say Usher.
Usher is not the king of R&B.
Hell no. Did she say Usher? Never mind. Sorry, this is my live reading. Anyways, let's continue.
I love Usher.
Yeah.
He's not the king of R&B.
Okay. In your opinion, R. Kelly.
Until Usher write every song he ever and produce every song he ever, and he hands out 60 to 300 different R&B hit records to everybody else in the R&B game beyond his own hits, he's not the king.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Chris Brown is not the king of R&B to me. They are kings.
Right.
Like Chris Brown and Usher are 50 times bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a king of no type of R&B. I'm a beast at what I do. Mm-hmm. But they have outsold me. They got way more status and Grammys and arenas, and the level of arena shows that they do is beyond the scope of anything I've ever done. And I actually, quite frankly, don't even desire that level.
So I guess they're going to have a full conversation. There's going to be a full interview of this. Oh man, I thank you, Tyrese, for speaking the obvious when it comes to R. Kelly. It's beautiful now when men finally get into a place where they can just speak the truth without having to be like, oh man, what are these women gonna say about me if I say R. Kelly's the king of R&B? Yes, he's the king of R&B. Like what the yes, it's him. R. Kelly is the king of R&B. I've been saying that for a minute. The only reason why particularly men are afraid to say the obvious is, I guess, because men have a thing where they don't want to be seen as creeps. But if you look at what Tyrese is going through in his personal life, it's interesting when men finally get to a point where they can just be free and just speak what's on their mind and not thinking about pandering to certain demographics of people that really you're not supposed to be pandering to anyways. And even then, I'm pretty sure a lot of women, if you ask them, do they really care about what R. Kelly is going through in his personal life? They don't care. They like the music. Now, when it comes to R. Kelly, let's speak on his talent-wise. When we're talking about not just his voice, the songs, but like I said, he's produced, he's written, he has everything. He literally has everything. He's done everything. Writing most of his songs, written for so many other I'm talking about great artists. He's written for Michael Jackson, written for Celine Dion, many powerful artists. He's written, given hits to great artists in this industry. Artists. You know what I mean? You know what I mean when I say that? He's Whitney Houston. What? Do you know the names that R. Kelly, the people that R. Kelly has written for? Like the hits that he's produced, his raw talent, his raw songwriting ability off the rip. You know how we make fun of do you have your passport? Did you get your He did that off the rip. I bet you he was like, I bet you even do that in rehearsal. He just like, yo, just play me something in B major. Play me something in B major. And I remember in the beginning of that, he's like, I got it. He's going off the rip. He's just going off the dome. Pause. His raw talent. You know what I mean? It's pretty clear to me. And maybe I'm biased because I'm a musician and I notice the little nuances that he does compared to most other artists. But to me, it's him, the king. When it comes to R&B, it's him. Particularly if you're talking about modern R&B, or if you want to talk about R&B from 80s to 90s to now, it's really been no other artist close to his talent and what when you talk about the talent and and production wise, hits wise, it's him. He's that guy. No debate. So let's also replay. So I'm just going off of his talent right now, right? I'm just going off of his talent. Now let's go replay some of this, and I'll break it down a little bit more.
As an R&B legend yourself,
yes, ma'am.
Who do you think is the king of R&B?
R. Kelly.
And like I said, Tyrese is more than qualified to say this. And remember, Tank even said the same thing. Tank was, I remember Tank was in a separate interview, another R&B legend, right? And he was, Tank was trying to actually big up himself, and he said the only person that could do what I do in this whole industry is R. Kelly, and he's in jail. He said the only person that could do what I could do when you're talking about songwriting, actually singing, produce. He said the only other person that could do that is in jail right right now. And that's I was laughing when he said that when he said that joint, man, because it's true. Because Tank is another person that kind of goes unsung because he's still producing for great artists. He's still songwriting. Tank, musicianship wise, is still great at the keys, so he can just come up with a song just like that. The only other person that could do that at a better rate is Robert Robert Kelly. That's the only other person that could do that, and he's the only constant when it comes to when they ask artists of the 90s, early 2000s. You're talking about people talk about the greatest era of modern R&B from 90s, 2000s, right? Who's the best? He's the constant.
R. Kelly. Why?
Who else but him?
I'm biased.
We're not talking about him being in jail and all this shit, dealing with controversy.
Now, here's the thing. The reason why he had to bring this up, because I noticed anytime you bring up R. Kelly's name, people want to bring up some other stuff. Now, here's the interesting thing. When people want to talk about Jerry Lee Lewis or Elvis, right? Imagine, I don't see no black people up in white people's space start bringing up Elvis's dirt with his personal life when we start talking about the musicianship. Like black people don't even get brave enough to even talk about that stuff because they don't want to step on no feet in the country scene or in the rock scene, right? Only time they start bringing up Elvis's dirt is like when it's like only like one white person that's interviewing them. You know what I mean? And then they'll say, "Oh, he stole from this," but they don't ever bring up the other stuff. But you know what I mean? And in my opinion, Elvis has done worse than R. Kelly personal wise, but black people don't even bring that up. But it's always like every time we bring up R. Kelly, it's like people make it a point to bring up the stuff that really don't matter. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about R. Kelly, we got to stick with the talent because many people are not even brave enough to talk about Jerry Lewis's dirt or Elvis dirt or a lot of other particularly Caucasian musicians of the past on the stuff that they did in their personal sex life. It's only R. Kelly we bring up the personal sex life stuff, and I don't like that. We gotta be fair here. Either we're gonna talk about it or we're not gonna talk about it at all. We can't pick and choose which artists we get to talk about and then leave it out. And then no. We can't do this because particularly men or young men. Like I remember I was in a band and I bring up one of R. Kelly's tracks or whatever. Like, oh, you mean the guy that be peeing on bitch? I'm like, oh my God, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? I don't care if whether he did or didn't relieve himself on some broads. I don't. The broads are now coming on camera and telling you the freaky stuff that they did when they were younger, the stuff that they said that they allowed to happen to them, and we want to put R. Kelly on this list that he's a nasty dude because a woman allowed him to relieve himself on him. Then if you ask a lot of women, what's the freakiest stuff you ever did, and then you'll hear them say, oh yeah, I let somebody take a dump on me, or you'll have girls literally go on camera talk about, oh yeah, I drank some dudes on camera. You'll see this, but then we want to single out R. Kelly for that. Look, man, some girls, if you're a regular dude, they'll ditch you on the date because you say you want to go 50-50. Or you sneezed wrong, you hiccup one too many times, and they'll leave you on the date. And it'll be like the same girl. They'll allow Vincent McMahon to take a dump on him, and then cry about it later. That's just life. So I don't know why we hold that against R. Kelly because of what women allowed him to do. What women allowed him to do. You know what I mean? He wasn't holding no 304s hostage. He's a freak. It is what it is. He's a freak. But that's what we gonna try to strip away his kingship, his musicianship because he's a freak. I mean, come on. That's not fair. In my opinion, that's not fair.
Diversity wise, no.
I would say Usher.
Usher is not the king of R&B.
I cannot believe her comeback was Usher. You cannot. What? Stop. Now, maybe because I'm a musician, so there's no way. How is your comeback Usher? No. Even Usher would tell you, if you like, even Usher would tell you, even without, even if he was worried about him getting canceled, he would tell you that no, R. Kelly's way better than like he would say, bruh, stop. Usher can't sing like R. Kelly. He can't he's probably yeah, he's a better dancer, maybe, but people forget R. Kelly actually had his own routines when he was younger and stuff. It's just he's in his 50s. Usher's in better, I guess Usher's in better shape than R. Kelly. Yeah, in terms of dancing, but in terms of the total package, pause, singing, songwriting, producing, it's not even close. Hits. If you do if they did like a versus with R. Kelly versus Usher, R. Kelly would win. And like I said, Tyrese is more than qualified to give that answer. I'm talking about more than qualified to give this answer.
I love Usher.
Yeah.
He's not the king of R&B.
Okay. In your opinion, R. Kelly.
Until Usher write every song he ever and produce every song he ever, and he hands out 60 to 300 different R&B hit records to everybody else in the R&B game beyond his own hits, he's not the king.
Okay.
Remember, I said, I don't know if anybody that follows my live streams, people can bear witness to this. I have said this exact same thing. I'm talking about in real life. People that work with me in the past can testify. I've said this in real life. I've said this in my streams. I've said that in many of my videos. That exact same thing that Tyrese is saying. But you know, when a regular person says it, oh, you co-cited the freaky stuff that R. Kelly. I'm like, no, I'm just talking about his talent and his music accomplishments. I don't care about his sex life. I really don't care, or any of these celebrities, these people's sex lives, because most of them are either freaks, down low, or a combination of the two. And R. Kelly was actually a combination of the two, if I'm not mistaken. So it is what it is. I don't want to get into people's personal life, because if you guys knew the celebrities that was actually doing the nonsense that you think. Remember when that list came out? The Big Jeff's list came out. I didn't see Robert Kelly on there. But the way that people would talk about R. Kelly, you would think he was on it, but it was a lot of the people that was on that test list. Because I saw Barry O on that list. I saw Mr. Slim Shady, whoever that is, that I saw him on that list. I saw Mr. The Rock, Mr. Rock Nation on that list, and I saw Miss Sasha Fierce on that list. But nobody has it's like nobody want to even talk about that test list that came out that people can't confirm or not confirm. I didn't see Robert Kelly on that list. Anyway, and they're not getting canceled. It's interesting.
I'm sorry. Chris Brown is not the king of R&B to me.
Exactly. Definitely not Chris Brown. Nope. No.
You know, they are kings.
Right.
Like Chris Brown and Usher are 50 times bigger than me.
And I'll say this. I'll say Tyrese is one of the kings of R&B. Tank is one of the kings of R&B. Genuine. Yes. I'll go as far as to say that. Yes. And I'll say Tank doesn't get the flowers, in my opinion, that he deserves, particularly Tank. Because he not only, when you talk about backup vocals, ghostwriting, writing, producing, Tank doesn't get his flowers, in my opinion. And he's just as good as damn near anybody, even in the game right now. I remember hearing a Summer Walker record. Was it SZA? No, I remember hearing just a random Summer Walker record, and I heard his backup. I heard his vocals in the background. So he's still doing that stuff, and he's not even getting credit for it. You know what I mean? And that's what R. Kelly was also good at. He's produced for a lot of people. I'm talking about where I can hear a track and I don't even need to check the credits, and I'm like, oh, he produced it. I'm like, he definitely produced. I remember listening to a High Five record, and it was just a random High Five. I'm like, he produced for that. I'm like, did he write or produce this one? And I'm hearing the way Tony Thompson on the record is singing it, and I'm like, dude, Robert Kelly, he produced this. Like, he definitely wrote and produced this. I could be wrong. And then I remember checking the credits. I'm like, yep, he produced it and he wrote it. He produced it and he wrote it. When your sound is that distinct, where you can even detect, like, where you like, oh, he produced it, or he wrote it, or people are just copying your style, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's that deep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a king of no type of R&B. I'm a beast at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'll say this: Tyrese, he's being very how do I say? You know, he's just he's not trying to toot his own horn, but I'll say Tyrese is definitely one of the kings. He's definitely one of the kings. And for him to say what he just said and to give R. Kelly his flowers right now, where it's not popular to do so because a documentary told you not to, man, get the F out of here, man. F all that. We're not gonna, particularly black people, we shouldn't be allowing certain entities to just dictate, oh, you're not allowed to give R. Kelly his flowers anymore. No. We're not doing that. So shout out to Tyrese for giving Robert Kelly his flowers. And just to let you know, men, look at the comments. It's a lot of women that literally say, yeah, I don't care what R. Kelly did. If you look at these comments, there's a lot of women in here saying, yeah, I don't really care what R. Kelly did. He's the king of R&B. Like right here. So shout out to this young man. I think he said, this is not even an argument. This is like asking who's the king of pop. Anyone who doesn't say Mike doesn't deserve a voice in the matter. I'll say, like I always say, like when it comes to the king of R&B, I'm like, it's probably R. Kelly. And I'm like, and then people will give some other names. I'm like, nah. I always say probably R. Kelly because it's probably somebody I'm missing. But in terms of R&B, in the R&B that a lot of, particularly the African American community, particularly the FBAs, like to listen to, it's R. Kelly, bro. it's R. Kelly to me. You know, shout out to this female here. She said, as an R. Kelly fan, it baffles me how much the comments have changed over the years. I used to be fighting for my life in here. Well, yeah, it's because now people are not. I think people are finally maturing into understanding yes, you can separate the musician from the personal life, or the artist from his personal life, and understanding that just because of somebody's personal sex life, you don't have to equate them into what you feel about them in terms of their music. You know, their music and their personal life, it should remain separate. And like I said, you're not going to tell a Caucasian person to cancel Elvis or do a Lifetime documentary on Elvis and cancel his accolades. You're not, please. So I don't think black people should let other entities influence that. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, because that whole Lifetime documentary and them now they want to put him in jail, and now they want to, even though it's clear the powers that be are just after R. Kelly's catalog and the money that he's potentially about to make with his masters, because he's produced for many, he's written for many, he has a lot of credits money-wise coming to his name for, I'll say, lifetimes to come, because he has given many people hits and he's written for many people.